All right. I believe we should be live. So welcome everybody. If you can hear me clearly, please drop a 1 in the chat. That'd be super helpful. And we'll be waiting just a few minutes to make sure everybody has time to join. But thank you guys so much for spending part of your Sunday with me. This should be a lot of fun going through the full demo of Deepvue. All right, lots of ones coming through. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for the feedback. Appreciate it. And you guys can see my screen clearly, right? Drop a 2 if you can see Deepvue here. Awesome. Lots of 1s coming through. Let's see some 2s. There we go. Starting to see some 2s. Perfect, guys. And yeah, welcome. We'll get started in just a few minutes here. Drop in the chat if you're a new Deepvue user. You just signed up recently off the waitlist. Yeah, I can zoom in one more time. Here we go. There we go. That should make it a little bit easier. Yeah, so let us know if you're a new Deepvue user. You just signed up to the platform. All right, some news coming through. Very nice. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Great to have you. We're really excited for everybody new coming through, and we have so many new features coming in the pipeline. It's going to be a fun few months. I'll tell you that. Yep, no problem, Chris. Not new, but lost. Well, hopefully we'll help out with that. This should be a good video. Yeah, good morning, guys. And let us know in the chat, where are you guys tuning in from? We'll see who's the furthest away. I'm in rainy Seattle right now. I've been running a lot, but this rain is discouraging. But you know, that's the fall weather for you in Seattle. Chris says, love the handbook, by the way. Awesome. You can see it behind me right there. There's a good Black Friday deal on Amazon if you haven't already picked that up. All right, we've got Quebec, Portugal, San Francisco, UK, France, Toronto, a lot of Toronto, very nice. Estonia, South Carolina, Florida. Hey, Mako, how's it going? London, Denmark, Austin, Texas, nice. I'm about to be in Austin. Virginia, Santiago, Niagara Falls, very nice. Our book was in customs. Well, hopefully it made it through. Vancouver Islands, nice. Love Vancouver Islands. Shanghai, Austria, very nice. Yeah, Shiny Object says, hey Richard, is it possible for Deepvue tutorials for Meets, Yours, and Nick's workflows? Yeah, I've been doing a few of those on my channel, but I'll bug Nick, Enemy, and Ross to make some videos on how they use the platform, because that's what's really cool about Deepvue, is we've created all these different workflows that you can do, but every trader is a little bit different, and that's why it needs to be a little bit custom. You know, I analyze the market health a little bit different than Rye does, than Nick does. Everybody uses slightly different indicators and setups and just workflows for screening, finding the top ideas. So I've been sharing a lot of kind of my process and kind of how I figured things out for myself. But yeah, we'll get some different traders on recently to showcase how they use Deepvue, because there's indicators that I use that others don't, that I find really helpful, and likewise the other way. All right. Yeah, great to hear that, Bertus. All right, Medellin, Germany, Cleveland, New York, very cool, guys. All right. Let's see what time we've got. All right, just after 11. We'll give it maybe 1 more minute for people to join here. I just sent out the email, so a lot of people should be popping through. So first of all, if you guys are just joining, welcome to all the new Deepvue users. It's great to have you guys. You know, at Deepvue, we're committed to making the best product possible, always iterating, always listening to your guys' feedback. And I think that's a big thing that sets Deepvue apart is, you know, we trade ourselves. We're creating workflows that save us time, that will save you guys time as well. And we're always listening to new ideas, you know, on X that come through the feature request feature. And we're always trying to add new features that, you know, make Deepvue a better platform. You'll see over the next few months how much stuff we'll be adding. It should be a lot of fun. So welcome, guys, if you're new, and this should be a fun full demo. All right. Yep, this is James. This is recorded. So you'll actually be able to go on this URL. So if you came here from an email, you'll be able to click that same link and watch this back as many times as you want. So if you have to go step away, get some water, get some coffee, whatever. I've got some coffee right here. Feel free to do so, and you can always watch this back and go through different sections. And after this is done, I'll be adding different timestamps to, the section that we talk about screening, the section that we talk about finding themes, finding top leaders, my favorite screens, all of that. There'll be timestamps that will basically enable you to jump to that part specifically of the live stream. And I am just slightly getting a cold, I think, so apologies for my voice if it's a little bit raspy at some points. And John asks, can you show us, how to easily transition? Yeah, that's the point of today. We'll show you how to set up relative strength line, get started with your data panel. All of that will be covered today. All right. So I think we can start getting started. So first things first, welcome everybody to the quick start guide, full demo of Deepvue. We're going to cover the full platform. I've got my notes here of all the things to cover. So this is the go-to resource if you want an all-in-one video walking through the platform, the different features, and how it can save you time and help you improve your trading. So this should be a lot of fun. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to talk about screening, setting up your chart, data panel, the dashboard widgets, analyzing the markets, finding leading themes. We're going to cover a lot, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First, when it comes to the general navigation of Deepvue, over here on the left-hand side is where all the modules are housed. We've got the dashboard module, which is kind of your sandbox to set up custom configurations and get crazy and custom with the different widgets we've got available. Then we have the screener module. This is where you want to be going if you're looking for ideas, screening for specific setups, specific fundamentals. This is where you go. Then you've got the watchlist module, which is basically where you can create a list of stocks to organize things. You can create combo watch lists, incorporating screeners as well as watch lists. This is basically where you can store a lot of those information, those lists. Then down here, we've got the education module. Then here we've got your account. So if you ever want to go to your account settings, you want to click this and then click account settings. You can also change to dark mode here by flipping this switch here. And then down here, and this is really helpful, guys, is the help module. And this is where you want to go if you have any issues. If there's a bug that you see, please report it, because that helps us improve as a platform. So you'd go over here, click contact us, report a bug. We've also got the knowledge base here, the status of Deepvue, any messages that you have with our support team. We've got news here in this tab, and also our roadmap. So if you have a dream feature that you want us to bring to the platform, whether that's an indicator, whether that's a data point, whether that's something bigger like journal, which is coming, this is where you want to go to either upvote ideas that you like or request a new feature. And like I said before, this is really what sets Deepvue apart, is our ability to communicate with our community, with our members, listen to your guys' feedback, and incorporate the best stuff that help us all, navigate the markets that much better. So if you've got an idea, please share it with us. Upvote the ones that you like, and we'll prioritize them. And we've got a lot coming in the pipeline that I think you guys will be very surprised about and, enjoy and find very, very helpful with regards to your trading. So definitely check out the roadmap, upvote the ones you want. And if you have any dream features, let us know, and we'd be happy to add it to the list of potential features. So that's how you request a feature there. And also, if you have any issues with your account, go ahead and either reach out to us right here through contact us, or email us at hello@deepvue.com. We're onboarding a ton of new people right now, so please bear with us and have a little patience. We'll get everything sorted. But again, that's hello@deepvue.com. That's the email to reach out to us if you have any issues with support, with your account, with plans, billing, all that stuff. Reach out to us. We'll get it sorted. No problem at all. All right. So with that set up, let's go ahead and start in the screener module. And let's go ahead and start from a blank slate. So let's go ahead and load this blank template, and let me close all of this. So likely, many of you, especially if you're new, are starting off with something that looks like this. Just a chart, no indicators, and maybe you have a screen loaded here. Well, we're going to get you guys set up in a very short amount of time. So let's go ahead and get started. First, if you don't see a chart, it might be hidden because you've expanded the column set. So you should be able to click this arrow and load that chart up. Then on the right-hand side and up here on the top right is where you can load the stats table as well as the data panel. And you've also got your alerts notifications here that are stored. Those are things that can pop up either below the chart or to the right-hand side of the chart to help navigate the markets and analyze different data points for the stock that you're specifically seeing. So first, the stats table. This is where you can see the earnings and sales going back the past few quarters. You can hover over any quarter and see the estimate, see the surprise. This is really helpful to be able to see, why was there a gap up? Well, because they beat earnings by 400% and had, they were profitable when they were expected to be negative. That type of information is crucial. And this is why I love the stats table so much, is it organizes it in a really logical fashion. You can easily review different quarters. And crucially, you can see estimates going into the future. We all know that stocks trade, most of the time on future expectations of growth, of earnings growth, revenue growth. And that's why in Deepvue, we show the estimates right there with it. And this is so crucial because a lot of stocks might be negative in recent quarters, but the stock is already trading because there's the expectation of triple-digit growth shortly thereafter in the future. So that is the stats table. This goes under the chart and shows all those quarters there for you. You can always hide it again if you'd like to focus on the chart for a short amount of time by clicking this button right here. Then on here, right next to the stats table, you can bring up the data panel. This is going to bring up a host of stock-specific data points for the one you're actually looking at right now. So as you're going through your screens, this is going to adjust and adapt to the ones that you're showing. And let me actually get the Deepvue leader screen up so you've got some real stocks to look at. So as you're flipping through charts, this is going to adapt to it and show the specific data points that you want. This data panel is fully customizable. There's no need to look at extraneous data that you don't find relevant, and that's where kind of Deepvue I think specializes here. Is you can set up your dream data panel and very quickly be able to hone in on the data points and levels that you're watching specifically. And I'll show how to load a data panel a little bit later on. We're just kind of talking overall setup and navigation at this point. So data panel is over here on the right hand side. This is for stock specific data points. So when I go to this stock, it's going to adapt and change to that sub industry, that ADR, that amount of float, that amount of short interest, all that stuff. And this is the one that I specifically use. And if you want right now, if you're following along, and if you're new to Deepvue, I'd highly suggest following along today. If you want a data panel to just get started to see what's possible, go over here to, well, first click this to open it up if it's closed, then click this drop down menu. This is where you'll select a data panel to use. Go over to data panel presets. This is where we have top trader presets. This is where my data panels are housed. Go over to top traders, and then the one I've got using, and this is set up, this is the exact one I use every single day, Richard Moglen main panel. Load that, and you'll be able to see it right now. Now, because this is a preset, you won't be able to edit it, but you'll be able to copy it or create your own. And this is just to give you an idea and get you started very quickly by loading my column set with subindustries, top stocks in that sub industry. And right here, if we click this drop down, you can see the list of all the industries here, ranking them. I think this is a highly requested feature and very useful as well. You can see the rank of a specific sub industry, the amount of stocks in there, and you can even click this and load the stocks itself. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to talk overall navigation. So data panel on the right-hand side. Then on the left-hand side of your chart is your data column set. So if you think of data panel, this is stock specific to the single stock that you have currently selected. Your data column set is basically housing all these other different columns that you want to see for all the stocks in your watch list or screener all at once. And you're able to sort by any of the columns that you have set up. So this is really helpful for doing your weekly routines, for finding, relative strength on a deep red day. For instance, you could sort by percent change today and just see, what's up big or up or simply up that day. You could sort by relative volume. So run rate 20-day is looking at the time specific volume versus the normal. So relative volume. And basically right here, if we sort by this, these stocks will show up at 936. It will show the relative volume compared to normal. So if volume is tracking 200% higher than normal, you'll see it right away in here, right at 936, right at 937. Throughout the day, you'll be able to see what the expectation of volume is compared to normal. And these are stocks that are likely gapping up. If you run through these, this one's gapping down, but these are stocks moving on big volume. I'll go through my full column set just later on, but the key thing to remember with data column set is that this is, looking at all the stocks in your list and showing all the different data points that you'd like. All right. So we've talked overall navigation, and let me just show you how I selected a screen so you can have one up as we go through, and I'll get more in depth into the screener in just a minute. So let's X out of a screen. So over here in the top left, you can see I currently have the Deepvue leader screen selected, but I'm going to click that X, and now I have no screen selected. We're starting from a blank slate. So to select a screen, you want to go back to that drop-down menu, and then you want to navigate to either a screen that you've created. You can create a new screen right here. We'll do that in just a minute. But to just get started, let's go over to screener presets. We have dozens and dozens, probably hundreds at this point, of top trader screens, screens that we've created, screens that save us time, screens that look for earnings gaps, tight areas, potential breakouts, all this stuff. And let's go over down to Deepvue and then select Deepvue leaders. This is the screen I was just selected. And if you want just one screen that's going to find momentum and growth names, this is one I highly recommend. I created it myself, and I think it's fantastic at capturing the current top growth stocks and momentum names. Right now, it's got a lot of biotech because that's what's leading, healthcare as well. But as the markets change, this screen will adapt to what's working, what are the leading themes in the market. So now that we've got that screen selected, let's go ahead and focus now on the chart setup and get you going here. So let's go ahead and hide the data panel and move this over to maximize this screen real estate. So I have bars. Let me know in the chat, are you team bars or candlesticks? Good thing is you can use either in Deepvue. You just have to choose. I'm personally team bars. I know that might be controversial to some, but let's get going and show you how to switch either. So right now I have bars selected. To switch between candlesticks as well as other different views, you want to go up here to this top bar. This is where kind of all your chart tools, drawing tools are housed. And you want to click right here. And then you can go between candles, hollow bars, HLC bars, area. You can get crazy, line charts. Again, I personally use bars. You can use candles, but use what makes sense to you. And once you have it selected, and I'll just use candles as an example, if you don't like the colors, no problem. Everything is customizable. Again, and once you have it set up, it will be remembered. So to change the colors, you can either go up here to the top right and to click settings. This is kind of your chart settings. Or, and I think this is the easiest thing to just remember, whenever you want to change a setting for something, just double click it. That's what really makes it easy. Then you can change, the color of the body, the different colors, whatever you like, all of this stuff. And this is going to be specific to the type of visualization you have. So bars is going to have slightly different view than candlesticks. And you can also change your canvas here. So if you don't want a solid white background, you can do a light gray, or you can do a gradient, and we'll do, this nice soothing look. This looks pretty good, easy on the eyes. So again, I'm not going to go too much in the specifics here because it's so much dependent on each individual person, how they like to have it set up. But I do want to highlight a few things. So first, if you want kind of an overview of the industry group and all that stuff, you can check this, and that will show a watermark of the stock you're looking at, as well as the group, all of that. So that can be very helpful. And then margins down here. This is something that's very helpful for me, is I like having space at the top of the chart and the bottom of the chart, and then also to the right. This just kind of helps me identify patterns and interpret charts faster. So I like 10% at top, 10% at the bottom, and then 10 bars to the right hand side. It's very easy to change if you'd like. You can just move that over. But this is maybe a good starting point for you guys to move it away from the scale a little bit, from the top, all of that, and just help you see it a little bit better. So that is margins. I talked about the background, all of this stuff. So I think that's pretty much it. When it comes to scales, you can adjust stuff here. I prefer turning off lines and stuff like that. But again, just click through this and make it your own. And once it's saved, Deepvue saves your last state. Status line, you can also change. That's this up here to see what you get. You could do ticker and description, all this stuff. If you want the chart values, you can have that or not. I have it set up like this. And then going back to symbol, that's pretty much it. You could color based on the previous close or uncheck that. And once you've got it set up, go ahead and set OK. And now it will be remembered. I'm going to switch it back to bars just for the folks who are using those, because there is a few settings to focus on here. So again, whenever you want to change something, double click it. We'll go ahead and change the down color to red. And depending on how you like to view things, you want to uncheck thin bars here. I prefer thicker bars. It depends on how much price action you're looking at as well. But I think in general, uncheck thin bars, and that's kind of the way to go. Okay. So let's go ahead and add some indicators here, because we've got our chart going here. Let's go ahead and add some indicators. So again, the top bar here is where you navigate and find all your kind of chart related things. So right next to where we change it between bars and candles is this button right here, indicators and strategies. This is where you go to add any indicators, volume, MACD, relative measure of volatility, relative strength line. This is where you go. So let's go ahead and add the relative strength line at first, because I know many of you guys are likely using that specific indicator. All right. So once you click that, it brings up the search box. If you type in DV, you'll see all the Deepvue specific indicators that we've added. And again, if you want an indicator that's not already in the platform, go ahead and submit a feature request and we'll get it in as quickly as we can. We've got a lot of specialist ones from Kalamagi, Stockbee in here, the Webster, EMA Clouds, some from Larry Williams, the EPS line, enhanced dollar volume. We've got, we just added the great one from Jeff Sun, the ATR percent from the 50 SMA. We've got a lot of stuff in here. Mike Webster has contributed a ton as well. So again, if you've got an idea that's not in the platform, go ahead and submit a feature request and we'll work on it and get into the platform. But let's go ahead and add the relative strength line. So you could either navigate through it by typing DV and finding it here, but I'm just going ahead and type relative, I can't spell, relative strength line. And to select it, just click it. And right now it adds it below the chart. Now it may add it directly onto the chart, and I do want to do that because it causes some scaling things that I want to show you guys how to fix. So let's go ahead and move it to the existing pane above. So this actually didn't do too bad because I think the relative strength line is close enough to stock price. But let's go ahead and space through. Or maybe we fix this automatically. But regardless, if the relative strength line is stretching the chart or you're not able to see the chart after changing the relative strength line, it's likely because the price chart itself and the relative strength line are using the same scale. And remember, the relative strength line is simply a plot of the price divided by the SPY or whatever relationship you're using. And the value itself does not matter, and it might skew the chart depending on what you're looking at. So if you're finding any issues with that, go ahead over to where the relative strength line is in your indicator list below the ticker here. Go ahead and click the three dots. And you've got two options. You can either move it to a new pane above or below. That's kind of my preference. Or you could pin it to a new scale, and that would separate the scaling from the chart itself. And just to show that, we can do new right scale. And then you can go ahead and edit the scaling drag it around, all that stuff. But I prefer to simply move to. So again, if we hover over the name of the relative strength line, we have all these options. You can delete it. You can click the settings here. You can hide it momentarily if you'd like, but clicking these three dots gives you more possibilities. I like to simply move it to a new pane above. That's how I like to do things. So that's adding the relative strength line. We'll come back and edit the settings here and just show that. But again, whenever you want to add something, just double click it and that brings up all the settings related to it. But let's go ahead and add volume and a few other indicators first. So to add another indicator, we're going to go back to this button right here, indicators and strategies. Let's type in volume. And we have an enhanced dollar volume, which kind of highlights, well, first of all, it plots things in dollar volume, which is the price share multiplied by the volume. Can be very helpful to see, big liquidity, surges and all that. But we're just going to do normal volume for now. And right now it's plotting right below price. You may prefer this, but I prefer having it in its own pane. So let's go ahead over and hover over it. You go to those same three dots. This is where you have additional options. Go over to move to, and we'll do new pane below. So that's set. I do want to change the look at this. So let's go ahead and double click it. And I prefer, instead of these, big rectangles, having it be a little surprise. So let's go ahead and change the style. This is where you can change the colors as well. We'll go ahead and make it monochrome because that's my style, like this. And then let's go ahead also and change it from a column visualization to a histogram visualization. That makes it a little bit skinnier, a little bit more precise, but you can see it's pretty thin now. So let's go back to colors, make it full intensity, and make it thicker. And we got to do the same for the growing. So there we go. So I prefer this look. Obviously, it's personal preference. What's great is that you can customize anything, but there we go. So that is volume. Let's also double click and add a volume moving average. Let's make that red. And you can always change the inputs. So the inputs tab changes kind of, key inputs about the indicator. The style changes the look and feel of the indicator. So inputs, this is currently a 20-day moving average. If you want 50, just go ahead and change that. And there you go. Now we've got a nice kind of signal line on our volume. Let's go ahead and add one more indicator just to show, and I'm going to show a bunch of different indicators in just a bit, but we're just kind of getting that overall quick setup. Let's go ahead and add relative, I can't spell relative today, guys, relative measured volatility, which is the indicator I created. And this basically plots, if you're not familiar with it, it basically goes down to 0 when there's a tight area that we're expecting expansion from. And when there's price expansion, a breakout or breakdown, it pops up to 100. So it helps you spot those subtle tight areas that you might miss otherwise. But we're going to go ahead and change the look and feel here. So let's make it black. I'm going to take off these lines. So again, if you don't want something, just uncheck it. And we're going to make this blue. There we go. And let's make this a little bit thicker. Okay. So again, if you're trying to change the look and feel of it, go over to the style tab of whatever indicator you're currently looking at. Okay, cool. So let's say this is kind of a standard layout that we'd like. What I would highly suggest you do is save an indicator template, because that way, if you change something and want to get back to a starting point, all you have to do is click your indicator template and it'll load it back up. So to do that, what you want to do is next to indicators and strategies, go over to indicator templates, click that, and then click save indicator template. And I'm going to call this tutorial demo November. And if you wanted to save the interval, for instance, right now we're on a daily chart, I would give that a check. If it doesn't matter to you, no problem. It'll just stay on the current interval that you're at, and then click save. Now, say I, accidentally delete an indicator or do something that I don't want to, I can always go back to these indicator templates and click that, and it'll bring it right back. And what's even better is if you click this list and click this star icon hovering next to the name of the one you just created, star that, and now it's right here in this tab right here, easy access for you. So for instance, I've got kind of my daily setup, my weekly setup. I've got a setup that we used for the Trader's Handbook setup. I've got my intraday setup already there and configured with the time frame I want, with the indicators I want to see on that time frame. So definitely I would suggest create different indicator templates for a time frame that you use. So I have weekly, daily, and intraday. And let me go ahead and change this canvas back to just white here. So weekly, daily, intraday. So that way I don't need to use these, which I use sometimes if I just want to quickly change to a 65-minute time frame, but I can quickly get back to my daily template, indicator template with all the indicators I want on those time frames automatically saved. So definitely create some indicator templates, mess around with that, and you'll be good to go. All right, just checking my notes here. How are we doing so far? Everybody following along, and hopefully this is helpful to you guys. Give me a thumbs up in the chat, or just a helpful. That would be awesome to get some feedback. All right. All right, one thing I do want to mention is that in Deepvue you can create a multi-chart layout. So if you want to have basically a weekly time frame next to a daily time frame, what you want to do is go over to this icon right here and change a layout setup. And then you can choose the configuration you want. If you want, a bunch of charts like this, you can do that if you'd like. But likely you're just going to be using 2. And then to change the time frame that you would like, click in the pane that you want to edit. So for instance, we've got a daily chart set up here. If I want my weekly on the right, click in there. Then apply your weekly layout or adjust the indicators that you would like. And you can change the time frame by clicking weekly here. But I'm just going to apply my weekly template. And if you find that things aren't syncing, so when you're switching between charts, they're not changing at the same time, make sure when you click this layout setup that you've got checked sync and layout symbol. And if you want your crosshair syncing as well, you can do that. And you've got some other options here, but I personally just sync symbol and crosshair unless I'm doing something very specific. But this is how you set up a daily and weekly chart next to each other if you would like to. Again, with your full custom layouts set up there for you. Okay. And if you ever want to switch back, just go ahead and go back to a single tab, and there you go. And you can quickly go back to your daily template. All right. So I want to show a few other indicators just to show what's possible in Deepvue. Again, we've got so many custom indicators that are awesome. But just want to highlight a few that you might find, you want to get started with right away. So let's go ahead and just delete RMV for the time being, and relative strength line, just to make the chart a little bit cleaner. So again, to add an indicator, what you want to do is click indicators and strategies. And then you can scroll through. We've got, over 100 indicators that you can add here. If you want MACD, go ahead and add that. If you want just a simple moving average. So this is actually good to talk about. Let's go ahead and delete these moving averages. And let's show how to add a moving average. So let's click here, type in moving average. We've got all the options that you'd want. Deepvue key moving averages is a specific indicator that lets you select a bunch of different moving averages all in one indicator. So that could be up to 4, I believe. But you can also set the ones you want to use on a daily and weekly time frame all in one indicator. So if you don't want to create multiple layouts for different time frames, this can be an option to set it all in one. And then when you automatically switch, we'll recognize that and switch it to the right moving averages. But to just add a simple moving average, you want to click moving average. You'll see that by default it's number 9. Just click the settings and you're able to change this to say 50. And then to add an exponential moving average, what you want to do is go back here, moving average, and then add exponential. And we'll go ahead and make this the 21 moving average. And we'll make this magenta here. And now you've got that 50 SMA and 21 EMA. And I know many of you guys likely use the 200-day moving average as well. So we'll do 200-day moving average. And let's go ahead and make this the 200-day and make this black. So there you go. That's how you add moving averages to your chart. You can also, by the way, if you don't want to keep searching here, you can go ahead to the three dots and do copy, and then add a bunch of moving averages here and then edit them as you'd wish. And that's a way to quickly get some moving average if you want to add a bunch. For instance, you might find it helpful to add a bunch when you're creating like a GMMA chart, which I've got an actual indicator template on, if I can find it here. So this is basically a way to visualize the trend with just moving averages, with a bunch of faster moving averages and longer term moving averages. And then you can easily see, what stocks are in an uptrend or downtrend as you go through. And this is just a cool visualization, but just showing off how you can add a lot of moving averages. And there's no limit to the number of indicators that you want to add to your chart. Don't get crazy with it. Simple is pretty much better. But this is a useful visualization for you guys and just showing what's possible as well. So let's go back to my daily time frame. And let's show the new highs. So let's say you want to look also, you're looking at the QQQ and you want to see kind of breadth as well. Let's go ahead and go to indicators and strategies, new highs. There we go. And you can edit it to see, are you just NYSE, just NASDAQ, AMEX, or all of those combined is USA. You can change the style as you'd like to, and you can see how the net new highs, new lows, it was strong for all this time. And then when it started getting choppy, even before we really started breaking down, we started seeing this trend of new lows popping up. So this can be a very helpful kind of market analysis indicator. So that is Deepvue net new highs, new lows. I also want to highlight the market trend indicator. Oh, no, the market cycle indicator. So market trend just plots versus moving averages. Green is good, red is bad, and you can configure these moving averages. Let's go ahead and just show that. Price above moving average, price below moving average. You can color code your charts and change the inputs as well, what moving average you'd like. But the indicator I want to show was the market cycle one. So let's type in cycle. And what this does is basically shows you when we're in an uptrend and when we break below a moving average and begin a downtrend. So this can help prevent you from, over trading when we're below a moving average by plotting the longer term market cycle for you. And you can configure what moving average kind of controls your market cycle. Right now, by default, we've got the 21 day moving average on the SPY, but you could do QQQ and switch this to a 21 EMA. This is pretty much what I would use. And now you see here, we started the first day of a new trend here and had a few blips down, but overall we're in an uptrend until right here. And now we're in a short-term down cycle. So this kind of shows you the changing of market environments in a very visual way. And each day it's going to add one kind of one more level to the market cycle. It's basically counting the number of days we're in that market cycle for you. So this can be a really helpful kind of market analysis tool as well. So that is the market cycle indicator, new highs. EPS line, this is going to be a big one. So EPS line is designed to look at the longer term, earnings growth. And we also have the sales line to look at revenue growth. And because it's longer term, we really want you to focus on it on a weekly chart. So it's actually not going to be, not going to show up on a daily time frame. So for this to work, we have to go over to a weekly time frame. We'll go over indicators and strategies, and let's type in or just find it right here. I've got these favorited. You can favorite an indicator for quick access. If you want to do moving average, that might be helpful. And let's go ahead and add it to our charts. There we go. And we'll go ahead and let's see. Oh, we're on the QQQ. There's no earnings. So let's go over to NVIDIA. There we go. There's the earnings line. To edit the view, you want to go over here. You can do TTM or not. You can show estimates or not. I leave estimates off personally. And I like looking at, you can do either standard earnings per share or earnings per share growth. So you're right now we're in earnings per share, just simple earnings per share. You can see the acceleration that led to this super massive move in NVIDIA, quick dip here, and then follow through higher. But you could also do earnings per share growth. So this is kind of the acceleration of the earnings growth. And if you see a ramp like this, that might be a stock to look at as it's setting up a base in here. If it's ramping like this in terms of earnings growth, take a look at that and maybe look for a setup. You can see actually growth is decelerating here, but it's just kind of flat. So this can be a really helpful longer term visualization of a fundamental that you can analyze along with a technical chart pattern. So again, if you go over to a daily time frame, this is not going to show up because it's designed for a weekly time frame. But once we go back to a weekly chart, there it is. And we've also got the sales line. You can adjust the scaling, move that around, all of that. So that's how you set up the EPS line. So let's go ahead and delete that. On my weekly chart, I also have the Deepvue technical patterns indicator. This is where you can add a lot of dots on your chart, indicators, showing oops reversal specific patterns. So let's go ahead over to here, click settings, and then these are all the different technical patterns that you can basically select, and then it will plot a visualization under it. So I just did inside day. If you want all the inside days called out on your chart, and right now we're on a weekly chart, so it's looking at inside weeks. We've got all these different visualizations here that you can check. I personally on my weekly chart have 3 weeks tight, and it colors the chart orange when it's 3 weeks tight. So if you'll notice, Nvidia, before it broke out and made this amazing move, it was a 3 weeks tight, and that's why it's highlighted in orange there. You've also, if you like RMV, you can do RMV under a certain value, and then it will plot different points where we get tight on that indicator there. And then of course you can go over here, and if you're using inside day, you could change that to a circle. You could change that to black dot, below, above. All these different configurations are possible. So basically this technical patterns indicator brings a lot of pattern recognition into this and allows you to spot those different patterns that you might use to trade. So I personally like 3 weeks tight. Rye really likes using RMV here, especially on a daily chart, and looking when the relative strength is in the RS phase, and then we see some dots with RMV going down below 0. That's a spot that he likes to look for an entry in. So have fun with this, and this helps you call out those patterns, those shorter term patterns that get a stock on your radar. And if you want us to add any indicators specifically to this, let us know, and again, submit a feature request and we'll get that into the pipeline. Okay, so we did that one. We did the EPS line. I think that's the main indicators that I just want to show quickly. I also want to show scaling because that's a big thing. So let's go over to daily, and let's just clear some drawings here. So scaling is important. Some of you guys probably really like arithmetic. Some people like log. Let me know in the chat here. Are you guys team log or team arithmetic? But regardless, you can do either in Deepvue. So to adjust your scaling, you want to go over to your scale, right click on it. So that again, that's go over to your scale, right click on it, then click the options that you like. So this is how I have it set up on my chart. I have auto, so it automatically fits the price action to the amount of space I have available. I also have scale price chart only because if this is off, it's going to include the 200-day moving average into the scaling equation. And I just want to focus really on the actual price action itself. And if the 200-day moving average is well below price, I don't need it to adjust the scaling for that. So that's why I do scale price chart only. And then you can also, if you're focused on short setups but want to kind of invert the chart, you can invert it if you want to get fancy. But I pretty much have these two set up, and then I'm team logarithmic. But if you're arithmetic, you can go ahead and change that to regular there. You can also do percent, index to 100. I personally just do arithmetic, and that's what I do. And if you want lines for, the price line, high and low, labels, if you want the symbol name and last, like right here, you can add that in. But you can adjust all these settings and, make this exactly how you would like it. So that is scaling. All right. And again, to move indicators, so for instance, if I want a relative measured volatility above my volume, what I want to do is hover over it, click these three dots, and then this brings up additional options. So what I want to do is, you can adjust anything in here as you'd like, but I want to move to, I could do existing pane above or pin to new scale. But actually what I want to do is just move it above. So over here on the top right of any indicator, if you hover in this area, you'll see some options to delete, collapse it, that just hides it momentarily. You can expand it if you'd like and press escape to get back, I believe. Actually, no, you go ahead here to get back, and then you can click this to move paint up or down, and this allows you to quickly, set up your chart exactly how you would like it. Okay. Everybody good with chart setup? Any questions here? Let's see. And I see a question for dark mode, so we'll go ahead and show that. If you want dark mode setup, you want to go over to your account settings and change this theme. And you've got a confirmation menu here, and it will automatically adjust here. And then you want to go ahead and change your indicators for dark mode. So likely you want to change it like that, everything white instead of dark. And we're going to be improving this. So when it's dark mode, it's going to remember kind of your dark mode settings. But right now you will have to adjust when you're switching back and forth the different colors and all that stuff. But this is dark mode, and some people will prefer this. Some people prefer light mode. I'm personally team light mode myself. So we'll go ahead and switch back, and we'll make these black as well. So that's how you switch into dark mode. Again, you go over to your account and then click this slider to switch into dark mode. All right, cool. I think that's pretty much what I want to cover here with chart setup. So let's get into screening now. How's everybody doing so far? Doing good? Cool. All right. So going back to screener, right now we've got NVIDIA here, and you can always just kind of type and bring up a stock if you would like to, and press enter. I'm just typing Apple here on my keyboard, and it will sense that and bring that up. And right now you can see it's only focused on Apple. To get back to whatever screen results you're showing, just click that X here. So if I type in Tesla, bring that up, it only brings up Tesla, but X that out and it'll bring back the screen that you're looking for. But as I mentioned, to show the screen that you want to see up here in the top left what's currently loaded, and you can exit out if you'd like. And now that's just default, nothing is loaded. But to select a screen, you go over here and then select either a screen that you've created. You can create a new screen or go over to screener presets, Deepvue, and load the Deepvue leader screen. And if you want these screens up here, so basically these are my favorite screens that I want quick access to be able to load them very quickly. What you want to do is in your menu, you want to go ahead and bookmark it. So once you go to Deepvue leaders, if you want that to show up here, you want to click that bookmark, and you can see I removed it. Now I added it back. So this is what enables it to be here in the top bar for you. And that way you can just quickly, this really speeds up workflows. It's just quickly going between different screens that you like to run every single day. Maybe you've got a screen that you like to run right at the open. Well, you could go quickly from your Deepvue leader screen for general screening, and then very quickly at the open, click this and you're all set up. All right. So one thing I did want to highlight is all the top trader preset screens that we have. So we worked with a ton of traders to bring in some of the specialist screens that they like to run. So if you go ahead and click the drop down menu, go over to screener presets in the top here and go to top traders. This is where you can find all these screens. So we have close to 80 screens from, we've got Dr. Wish, Kathy Donnelly, Jim Ropel, Mark Minervini, his screens, his trend templates, Mike Webster, all these different screens that you can try. Oliver Kell's got a bunch in here. So this is where you find the top trader screens, and you can go ahead and click any of them. Let's go ahead and do, for instance, let's do Mike Webster hard tape. There you go. It's loaded. And you can also go ahead and click this, and this is what brings up the filters that you're seeing. And because this is a preset, you're not able to edit it natively like this. But if you'd like to take this screen and use it as a foundation and tweak, maybe one criteria, add a criteria or whatever, all you have to do is go over to the screen in screener presets. So whatever screen it is, click these three dots and then click duplicate. And then this is going to create a copy for yourself. So I would go ahead and click duplicate and call it my copy. And I'll go ahead and add a folder that says preset copies. Click create. And add a description. I'll do a real description. My copy of the preset. Click save. And now under save screens, under preset copies, here's my copy of that preset. It's loaded now. And then I can go ahead and adjust any of these criteria as I would like to. So that's how you can take a top trader preset and use it as a foundation. Maybe you really like, all but one of the criteria. You want to make it stricter or less strict. Go ahead and copy it, make it your own, and add criteria as you'd like. So that's how you find your top trader presets and edit them if you'd like to. Like I said, I think if you're just looking for a starting point, a great list of the current, leadership stocks, can slim type stocks, go over and check out the Deepvue leader screen. This, typically has, 200 to 300 names of fantastic leading stocks and leading groups. Right now, there's a lot of biotech. And actually a quick cool thing that we added to Deepvue is the most common sub-industry that's showing up in an entire screen will highlight in blue. So right now, the biotech sub-industry is the most populous in the results. So that's why we highlight it in blue. So that's a quick thing that we added to, again, we're trading every day. We're using this. So we want to identify the leading themes as quickly as possible and what's strongest, what's acting the best. So we've created a lot of quick things like this that says, all right, there's a visual indication that biotech is strong right now because it's the most popular sub-industry in the Deepvue leader screen. And then we could even click this and load all, the stocks in the biotech, sphere and sort by any column that we'd like and dive deeper into the biotech group. But that's a quick thing that I'll go into a little bit more later. So top-down approach, I'll talk a little bit more later on in the video. But okay, so we talked about the preset screens. Let's go ahead and create a new screen from scratch. So to create a new screen, what we want to do is go into this menu, click Create New, and we'll do Screener. And this pops out the Create a New Screen folder. So either you can search for data points here or you can navigate using the folders. I personally do a mixture of both. And let's go ahead and create a dummy screen. So let's go ahead and do last price, or just do price here, and daily. And we'll do the last price here. Let's have a restriction be that all the stocks in our universe, but over $40. So once you've set your criteria, and you can do greater, less than, or a range if you'd like to. And you've also got different options in here as you'd like to. But we're doing the last price. Let's do add. And now we can see that this is the first condition that we have. And we've already gone from over 1,000 stocks down to 3,310 there. And we also show the number of results here. Let's go ahead and add an earnings growth restriction. So last quarter, let's do earnings growth greater than 50%. So let's do EPS. And let's select quarterly. Latest quarter greater than 50%. Let's click add that. And now we're even lower. We're only at 377 stocks. And let's do sales growth as well. Quarterly greater than 50%. There we go. So there's only 35 stocks in the universe that are over $40 a share, have EPS growth over 50%, and sales growth over 50%. Now, I know many of you might have a screen that looks for either earnings growth or sales growth, but in Deepvue, what's awesome is you can make that one screen. So right now, because we only have, this set of filters, all of these criteria in group 1 must be met for a stock to show up. So it must be over $40 and it must be over earnings growth over 50% and sales growth must be over 50%. But if you're only looking for either or any EPS growth over 50% or sales growth over 40%, what you want to do is add a group. And this is where Deepvue gets awesome, especially for the advanced users. And instead of adding it in this first group here, what you want to do is X out of those criteria in the first group and then click into this group. And now we can add filters to this group here. And we'll go ahead and get going. So sales growth over 50%. There we go. And let's do EPS growth quarterly, also over 50%. So remember, we had 35 stocks when we're looking for both of those criteria, but what's different now is instead of requiring both earnings growth over 50% and sales growth over 50%, it's looking for either of those possibilities. So this first group is kind of mandatory criteria. All of the filters, that's why we have it right here. And let me zoom in here. Hopefully that helps here. In group 1, you see this indication right here. All of the criteria in group 1 must be met for a stock to pass through. So if we add more stuff, above the 50-day moving average. So let's actually do moving average. And let's say, let's do price versus moving average. So if we want it over the 50 SMA, we're going to select 50 SMA here and greater than 0%. And when I click add, because I'm in group 2, I'm adding it to group 2, but let's go ahead and add it to group 1 instead. And now the mandatory criteria, all of the criteria in group 1 must be met. And that requires the last price to be over $40 and the price to be above or greater than 0% above its 50-day moving average. But once we go to group 2, it's looking for any of these criteria to be true. So either sales growth greater than 50% or earnings growth greater than 50%. So this is where you can get, really into the nitty gritty and advanced and create some amazing screens that are looking for, different, combining different technical patterns, all of that. If you could look for oops reversals or inside days, add that into group 2. So it's not just kind of fundamental criteria you could add together, but you can do anything. And this is how we created a lot of the awesome screens that we have in Deepvue. Is if we just go ahead, let's go ahead and save the screen just to show. So just enter screen names. Let's do demo November screen. Click save. If we go over to the Deepvue leader screen here, let me zoom out here. Deepvue leader screen. We were able to create this great screen that does an amazing job of finding the leaders because of this advanced criteria where we're looking for a lot of different characteristics together, combining things, taking things away. So that's how we're able to create such a great screen here. So you personally can use that that logic as well, the any and all, to get really specific into exactly what you want to see. All right. So that is creating a screen. Now let's talk a little bit about workflow. So again, if we're just looking at Deepvue leader screen and going through, we want to go through the results of this screen and potentially add it to a wait list. Let's go ahead and talk things through. First, as you're going through the Deepvue leader screen, you probably want to sort either by, it could be default by alphabetical, but I personally like to sort by specific data points in my column set to make things a little bit faster. I either like to sort by the absolute strength 1 month rating, which basically ranks stocks based on performance over the last month. And then I'm sorting by the strongest stocks to the least strong. But I personally like to sort by relative measured volatility, which again is the tightness of the stock. And you click once to sort highest to lowest of any column header. You click it one more time to go from lowest to highest. And you can click it one more time to remove the sorting. And if you have any sort set up, you can always go over here to next to this gear icon, and then there's the option to clear sorting. So if you're trying to sort something and things aren't working well, you've probably accidentally sorted by multiple columns at once and trying to sort by something else, just go ahead and clear the sorting and start from scratch. So I personally like to go here to RMV, go lowest to highest. And then as I'm going through the Deepvue leader screen, this is basically sorting from recent tightness to recent expansion. So Teva tight, Jazz tight. These are biotechs that moved up and now are forming tight areas. So automatically I'm seeing those tight areas that I personally like to trade, those VCP characteristics first. So it just speeds up my workflow a ton. And there you go. But of course, you can go ahead and sort by any data column set that you want. If you're looking, thinking about Friday, we're looking for stocks that are showing relative strength. So you might sort by daily closing range from highest to lowest. So that way you're seeing stocks that closed, high in their range first. So find a way that works for your workflow, that identifies the setups that you want, the stocks that you want first. And for me personally, it's looking for tight ranges first. So that's what I do. So then you can just spacebar through. You can also use the arrow keys. That's what I'm using now. And whenever you see a stock that maybe you want to add to a watch list, let's say we want to add MDB to a watch list, what you want to do is check it right here. And once you check a stock in this column here, you get some options up here. You can either add symbols to a watch list. So let's say we added all these to a watch list. These are stocks that we want to focus on. You can either add stocks to a watch list, and if you click this plus icon, it will bring up recent watch lists that you've created. Or you can simply copy the symbols to a clipboard. Say you want to post on Twitter, these are the stocks I'm watching. You can just copy it and then Control V into Twitter, and there you go. But let's say we want to add these stocks to a watch list. Let's go ahead and create a new watch list. And let's say this is weekly list. What day is today? November 23rd. And you could add it to a folder that is your weekly list. So you can go back and easily find it if you'd like to. Add a description if you'd like to, and then click save. Now, those stocks are added to that watch list, and we'll be able to find it in the watch list tab. So let's go over to the watch list tab, go down here, and go to the recent ones. And here is the watch list that we created. Here are the stocks that we added to it. And again, if you click this and don't want a stock on our watch list, you can easily use the multi-select boxes, delete that. It gives you a confirmation message, delete, and now they're off your watch list. So that's how you can set up a workflow going from a screen and kind of flagging any of the stocks that you want to add to a watch list, and quickly, add it to a recent watch list that you'd like. So we can go ahead and add it back to that weekly watch list. And if there's just one stock that you want to quickly add to something, we have something called a quick access menu. So let's say we're just going through stocks and you want to add GGL because you always want to watch that stock. You can go to the logo, and you can see on hover, there's this plus option, and you can quickly add it to a watch list here, or add it to a colored list. And your colored lists are basically specific watch lists that have colors. So it just helps you organize things. Maybe your green colored list is the one that you always use for your positions. So we can go ahead and add that. And now it's highlighted in green. So you can see VRT is blue, REGN is green, LRCX is green. So you can use these colored lists for many different options. You could even, run a screen and looking for triple digit earnings growth, and then add all those stocks to your red list. So that way, anytime you see that a stock has a red, or if it was the green list, green, then even without looking at the fundamentals, that this stock would have a triple digit earnings growth or something like that. So those colored lists are just there for you to organize your thoughts and ideas. And also on this quick access menu, which again, you get to by clicking the logo, you can add it to a particular watch list or multiple at once. You can copy it, you can add alert, all those options are there for you. All right. So we talked about adding to a watch list. I think that's most of what I wanted to cover with screening. Again, sorting is really helpful in here, and you can sort both in the screener module as well as the watch list module, as well as within the dashboard when you're looking at a list of stocks. But again, just quick workflow, go through, sort by something, check the ones that you want, and you can add it to a new watch list or an existing watch list that you would like to. Okay, let's see. Any questions about screening? Madek says, I can't seem to find AS to add to my screens. Search AS. Don't search absolute strength. It might be just name something, and we'll make that smarter. We'll make the naming smarter, and we might have an update really soon that allows you to build screens just that much faster as well. Is there a way to import a watch list from TradingView into Deepvue? Basically what you'd want to do, and let's go over to watch list here. So let's say we have a list of stocks that we want to create a watch list from that isn't from Deepvue. Maybe it's from Twitter, maybe it's from a different source. What you want to do is, just like creating a new screen, you go here and click create new. In watchlist, you click the current one that's showing here and click create new and watchlist. So let's call this demo watchlist November 23rd. You can add it to a folder if you'd like to. Click save. Now we've got a blank slate watch list. To add symbols to that watch list, we're going to click in here. And then in this box, you can paste stocks from your clipboard. So if you have 20 tickers copied, you can basically go ahead and Control V, and Deepvue will automatically recognize those symbols. And you can also just type in stuff. We'll do Tesla, Apple. Give me some tickers, guys. Let me know what tickers we should add to this watch list. BE. We'll make this kind of a leaders list. AMD. Let's do CSIC. Let's see. GEV. Somebody asked GEV. MDB. There we go. So you can add all those lists. So those are the ones that are selected. If you want to delete one, just click the X. And once you're satisfied, go ahead and click add. But again, you can just paste in here a list of tickers and we'll automatically add it. So let's do PLTR. Somebody want a PLTR. MU. There we go. So we'll go ahead and click add. And now they're in here. And within a watch list, just like a screen, you have access to your full column set. So you can sort, you can do, often for a watch list, I do percent change today, especially if it's my focus list to see what's moving on that day, or you could do run rate, all that stuff. So that's how you create a watch list. And just like in Screener, you can use these multi-select options. And if you want to delete some from the watch list, you can go ahead and delete it. Maybe these are ones that are breaking down and you no longer want to have on your watch list. Go ahead and click delete, and there you go. All right. Let's go ahead to my notes here. All right, cool. So a really cool thing in Deepvue is we can add sections to a watch list. So if we want to organize things a little bit better, and let's add a bunch more names here. Let's just add some random ones there. So say you've got a longer watch list and you want different sections within it. What you can do is right click on a ticker that you want to put a section above and click add section. There we go. And then you can name the section whatever you want. So this could be actionable, or if this is your positions list, you could have a full position section. You could have a half position section. You could have a quarter position section. So you can have multiple sections. So let's add one more section here. Let's say that this one is on deck. There we go. So these are the ones you're focused on. Maybe these are your actual positions. So let's do type in here, and you double click in there to be able to rename it. Positions. And there you go. So you got positions, actionable, on deck. And now when you sort, it's sorting within the section. So this can be really helpful for segmenting your watch list and staying organized overall. Let's see. Okay, sections, cool. All right, this is going to get fun. In addition to creating a normal watch list in Deepvue, what you can do is create a combo watch list. And a combo watch list basically combines multiple watch lists or screens all into one outputted list. So if you think about a workflow, if you have 5 screens that you look through every day, there might be a lot of repeated tickers on those screens that you don't want to review like 5 times. If you're looking at all those screens and it's going to show up on each one, that's a waste of time. So what you can do is create a combo watch list that takes as inputs those 5 different screens that you look at every day, plus maybe a leadership watch list, a larger universe watch list, tickers you always want to review. You can basically select the screens and watch lists that are incorporated into this combo. We called it combo because it's combining all those results into one list. So let's go ahead and show you exactly how it's done. So again, to create a new watch list, we go over to this drop-down menu, click create new, and click watch list. But before we just did a single watch list. Now we're going to click combo. So this is a lot of fun. You can basically create your ultimate screen or ultimate list of stocks using this. So we're going to name this combo demo November. Obviously, you kind of want to name it something descriptive and relevant to you. Then in this drop-down menu, you basically want to select the watch list presets, screens, screen presets that you want to include in here. So let's go over to screen presets. Let's go to Deepvue. We're going to add the Deepvue leader screen, the momentum leader screen, the stage analysis leaders that looks for stage analysis stuff, the HV edge stuff. So all these are screens that we're adding. We can also add in some of my specific screens. So we'll do, IPOs of the recent 6 months. So all these are being added. And then let's also do some watch lists. So there's some TradeLab watch lists in here. We'll go ahead and add those in. And then we'll do the current leaders list that I'm building, and also a watch list of stocks that have had recent gaps that I'm tracking. So I'm now adding all these different inputs to this combo watch list. You can select a folder. I have a folder specifically for combo watch list, so we'll add that there. You can add a description of, quick description of all of that. And let's go ahead and click save. Now look what we've got. We combined so many different screens and lists, but it's removing all the duplicate tickers and just outputting, one clean list where you only have to review the stock once and see if it's relevant to, the next day's trading watch list, whatever it is. So this by itself can save you a ton of time in your workflows, especially if you look at a lot of screens all at once. This is super cool. And we'll probably be adding some features pretty soon to the combo watch list where you can, exclude stuff as well. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, maybe you've got a do not trade list, you could exclude that from the screen results. And that way those stocks would never show up on a combo watch list. So let us know, what you'd like. Again, a big thing about Deepvue is we're making it for you guys. We want to incorporate the features that will save you time and help you find the best, trade opportunities faster. So everything we do is centered around that core idea. And to do that, we need your guys' feedback, and we welcome your feedback. If something isn't up to par, let us know and we'll fix it. We promise. So again, this platform is for you guys, and we try to incorporate as much of your guys' input as possible to make this the best platform overall. We're iterating every single week and month, and that's really exciting. We move fast, bring features fast, and get your guys' input on those new things. If you guys like it, we keep it. If you don't like it, we'll alter it or change it, what have you. All right. So that is creating a combo watch list. I do want to come back to the data column set and data panel just to make sure that I show you guys how to edit those so you can set it up how you like. So first, the data column set. This is the main one that I use. To change the one that is currently active, you want to go to column settings, and then similar to setting up a screen, here you're choosing basically the data points that are within your data column set. And basically it's set up vertically, how this is horizontally from left to right. So Subindustry right now is first. I can drag that and it will adapt in real time. If I want price percent change today first, you can move that. And you can also, of course, search for, let's do AS rating, if I can type today, rating 3 month. It brings up those data points. We'll add the 1 day version. It adds it to the front here, and then you can drag and drop and put it in the order how you would like it from left to right. So this is how you adjust the data points that are showing up in your data column set. And of course, if you don't want one, you can go ahead and exit out and it will adjust in real time. So that's how you set up your data column set. You can also change it from the spacing in between the symbols to different versions if you'd like it a little bit more compact. That's what I like to do. And what's awesome about Deepvue is that you don't just need to have one data column set, because depending on the screen or watch list that you're running, you might want to see different data points that you're seeing. For instance, I have a mega cap watch list that's kind of more related to analyzing the market health. And I have an indexes watch list that's the same thing. And I don't want to see, the sub industry, that doesn't really make sense for that watch list or screen. So I have different data column sets, and you can create a new one just like you would for the watch list. And you can select, basically, I want to make this clear. Deepvue will remember the latest column set that you loaded with a specific watch list or screen. So if you want a specific one for a specific screen or watch list, kind of what I do is I have my standard column set, which is my recommended, And this is my main one that I use for most things. And when I make a new watch list, that's the default. But say I have a post-market gap screen. I don't probably want percent change today or all these different things. I want post-market related data points. So what I would do is load that screen, and let's actually go ahead and load that screen to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And we'll go down to screener presets. We have some pre-made post-market movers and gap up screen here. And you can see right now, actually this is pre-market. So let's do post-market movers. You can see that I have a different column set to this screen. And that's because my normal column set just doesn't apply. So basically, if we go over to column settings, you can see that I have the post-market column set that I've created related to associated with this screen. So if I want my pre-market column set, I can load that. But what makes sense for this one is having this one so I can easily see post-market volume, post-market percent change versus my normal, different column set, which is my recommended column set. So that's how you go ahead and customize further different column sets related to different screens or watch lists. And again, Deepvue will remember the latest column set that you associated with this screen. So when you bring it up, it will automatically bring up that column set. So when I go to the Deepvue leader screen, if I X this out, Deepvue leader screen and go to leaders, it remembers that the last time I had Deepvue leaders open, I had my recommended set on. But when I go to post-market or pre-market, it remembers it has my pre-market data column set. So that's really helpful basically it allows you to set the most useful information for that screen right to the front for you. So that is your data column set, and you can edit it however you'd like. As I mentioned right here, reorganize the columns, drag and drop. We make it really easy. Okay, so that's data column set. For data panel, it's very similar. And like I said, right now I've got my, if you just want something to start with and set it and leave it, you can go over data panel presets, top traders, and this is the one that I use, the main panel set. But if you want to create your own, you can go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and load this one here. So the data panel, first you can drag it out and then see more data panels versus when it's collapsed. You can kind of scroll down to see it. If you'd like to see more, you can drag out here. You can show a lot of data if you would like to. I personally like to keep it kind of one row here. And to add a data point to a section, what you want to do is just click add data point, search for it. So we'll do pre-market, let's see, high. And there we go. We add to the section. If you want to delete it, just hover over that data point and exit out. And then to add a section, because you can see I've got all these sections here, you want to go down to the bottom and click add category. And we'll call this demo and press enter. And now we've got this category and we can add data points in it. Let me know some data points, guys. Let me know. We'll do DCR. We'll do, let's see, run rate. So again, this is relative volume, and we've got relative volume as well as run rate. So relative volume 20 day. There we go. So now these data points are showing. And if you'd like to drag it, so this one is at the top, you can go ahead and do that. So RV just basically looks at the volume versus normal, and that's how you do it. So that's how you edit your data panel here. And just like everything, you can create multiple data panels. Some might be useful for some things, some might be useful for others. So you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so that is data panel editing. To create an alert, I know many of you guys might be curious about that. We have two main ways to do it. First, you can do a regular price alert, or you can do a trend line alert. So showing price alert first, you basically want to click on the chart, right click on a chart, click add alert. You can edit the price. By default, it will be the one that you were at. You can see a line here that's being plotted, and you can add a condition. This is cool in Deepvue. You can add a condition that says, it's going through that price and relative volume is over 50%. So that's going to be helpful. Just click this to add a condition. You can select the duration that we want to see the price. Both basically refers to whether it's rising above or breaking below that level. And once you're satisfied with that alert, go ahead and click create. And there you go. Now it's set. If you want to do a trend line alert, basically draw a trend line. And I'll show you guys how to get these drawing tools in just a minute. Draw a trend line, right click on that line, click add alert. You can see it's a trend line alert. You can add a condition again if you would like to, but if you just simply want a alert for when it breaks below this line, go ahead and click create, and there you go. And you can also move this line and it will update it for you. And you can also do that with the regular price alert. So that's how you look at price alerts in here. And for all the stocks that you have alerts on, if you go back to the watchlist module, you'll actually have a pre-made watch list that shows the status of those alerts themselves. You can also turn them off and on if you'd like to. You can click the edit icon and edit them as well. So that's a little bit on alerts. Okay. Let's see here. All right. I want to show a few useful things before we get into the dashboard. First, this is really helpful for top-down analysis. Let's say you've identified that semiconductors are a leading group and you want to dive deeper into that group as a whole. Well, what you can do, and let me go back to my data panel here, is you can type in, for instance, a semiconductor ETF like SMH. And when you bring that up, you'll notice this little H icon next to the ETF. So what this H stands for is basically holdings. So if you want to dive deeper into any ETF, and this works for any ETF in the platform, you can click this holdings icon and automatically it will load for you right here all the stocks within that ETF. And this data column shows the percentage of the holdings that are these stocks. This is a great way to dive deeper into a specific theme. Spacebar through, you can then add stuff to your watch list if you'd like to, just like a normal screen. And then when you want to go back to whatever you were looking at before, you can click this X icon and you're back to normal. So let's go ahead and search TAN, another ETF, the solar ETF, click to see holdings. And there we go. There we have the holdings right there for you. So we can spacebar through and analyze and try to find the leading stocks within that theme. In addition, if you don't want to do it that way, what you can do is say, let's load the Deepvue leader screen. Let's say that you notice, let's do percent change today, ADPT is acting strong. It's in the Life Science and Tools Services group. We'll go ahead and make this bigger. What I can do is click the actual group itself here, and it will load all the stocks in this group. So there's 43 stocks in this group. Overall, this is ranked 10th out of all the stocks in here on a 3-month basis. And we can spacebar through all the holdings. And just like the ETF, we can click X to go back to the screen that we were looking at. So again, these are all kind of workflows that you can use to do top-down market analysis. You can go ahead and say, all right, gold is the number 2 sub-industry over the past 3 months. We'll go ahead and click gold here, load all the gold stocks, sort it how we would like, and go through their charts and look for tradable opportunities. So that's how you would do that. And we can X out right here. And one more thing that's really useful is, in addition to the sub-industry rank data point, which ranks all the industries and shows where the current stock you're looking at basically is on that rank. So if we look at S&DK, this is in the technology, hardware, storage, and peripherals. This is the rank 30 group out of 164. In addition to seeing the ranking with the sub-industry data point, if you expand it, so click this drop-down arrow, you can see the top 10 stocks ranked by RS in that group and click their charts and go through this like this. So there's another way to find the leading stocks and leading groups that are catching your eye. Okay, so let's talk dashboard and start with theme tracker, because finding leading themes is so important. I know many of you guys trade like this. So let's go ahead and talk about the theme tracker, which really helps you find these leading stocks and leading themes. So we've talked about the screener module. We've talked about the watchlist module. Let's dive into the dashboard module. This is really where you can get very custom, create your own layouts with the screener module and watchlist module. You basically have your list of stocks on the left, your other options on the right, the data panel. With dashboard, you can basically reorganize things as crazy as you'd like. So let's go ahead and create a fresh dashboard from scratch to show exactly what I mean. So let's go ahead and click Create New Dashboard. Let's name this Demo November Dash. Click Save. And now we have a fresh dashboard to start with. So in Deepvue, this dashboard is basically a blank slate that you can add whatever widgets you'd like to customize for a specific use. So the best way to use the dashboard is think about workflows that you have and add widgets that help you specifically with that workflow. So one of the use cases I have, and we'll show this one, is I like to trade earnings gaps. So what I need to do on a daily basis is track the stocks that are gapping up on earnings. So in my dashboard, I have this post movers dashboard that combines two screens, post market positive movers and post market negative movers, along with a chart widget, so that I can quickly review all the ones gapping up in post market and see how they're acting. So that's the use case for me. Let me go back to that demo dash. So basically, the what you want to think about with creating a dashboard is what is a specific use case, and what would be an organization of different widgets that would help me, accomplish that use case. So let's think right now about trying to find leading themes. So let's keep that in mind here. Let's go ahead and click Add Widgets. That brings up the widget list here. You can also always click Add Widget in the top right here. So you can do either. And then let's go through the different widgets and talk through each of these. First, we have the chart widget. This just allows you to chart. So it will be connected to whatever screen, watch list, other widget that's in the same group. And you'll be able to spacebar through just like we did in a regular screener or watch list to review ideas. Then we have a screener widget. This allows you to have a active screen on the dashboard. A watch list widget is basically the same thing, just a watch list. We have the data panel. So if you want to also see your data panel on your dashboard, you can add that. We have the stats table as well. So it's kind of taking different elements and allow you to organize things however you'd like. So if you want the stats table above your chart, you could do that if you'd like. If you want the data panel to the left of your chart, you can do that as you'd like. Then we have the position size calculator. This basically allows you to enter in your information about your account size and calculate the number of shares you can purchase based on your risk parameters. So this is very specialized for, maybe you want a dashboard specifically for calculating how many shares I can buy at that instant. This would be a good widget to add here. And again, if you have any ideas for widgets, this is just the ones that we have right now. We'll be adding these continuously. And if you have a great idea for a widget that you think would help you, it will help out a ton of other traders as well. So go ahead and submit a feature request and we'll get it into the platform. So that is the position size calculator. The performance chart widget allows you to plot a single data point that you can change whatever you like over a universe of stocks. So right now we're plotting weekly volume using a universe of the Deepvue universe. So NVIDIA had the biggest weekly volume. No surprise there. It had earnings. It's a very liquid name. So this is plotting all of this, and you can scroll through this. But you can do any data point basically. So RS rating, all this stuff. So this is really dynamic, and you can adjust as well. The heat map allows you to create a custom heat map using a specified universe, and then one data point that controls the value and color of the cell, and then one data point that controls, the size of the particular cell. So this is kind of the default one. It's looking at the universe of the S&P 500, looking at price percent change today, and the market cap. But you can go crazy with this. I like to do relative. I like to do run rate to control the size of my cell. So just by looking at this, I know Oracle had big volume, Intu had big volume, because instead of plotting it based on market cap, it's plotting it based on the run rates, the relative volume on that day, and still doing price percent change. But you could do volume. You can go crazy with this and get really custom to your specific use case. Then the bubble chart is a very cool widget. It basically allows you to screen visually and break down information in a very visual way. Just like the heat map and the performance chart, you can select a universe of stocks or whatever you'd like. So let's go ahead and load the Deepvue leader screen. So a good list of growth stocks. And then what it allows you to do is plot it using two data points and see visually how it breaks down. So let's do AS rating 1 month. And let's say AS rating 1 week. So now on the y-axis, we're plotting AS rating 1 week, and on the y-axis, plotting AS rating 1 month. So now we automatically know that the top right stocks based on AS rating 1 month and AS rating 1 week are the absolute strongest stocks right now in this moment. Here in the bottom left are the weakest stocks, both on a 1 week basis and 1 month basis. So it allows you to almost screen visually for strength. And what's really cool is if you go over to, let's say, watchlist presets, top traders, I have something called my ETF list. And now what it's plotting instead of the Deepvue universe screen is a bunch of thematic ETFs. So GLD for gold, iBuy for e-commerce, TNA, small caps, ERX energy. And now what you're seeing is rotation in real time. These are the leading groups in the top right, and these are the weakest groups in the bottom left. And then there's a little bit in between based on the axis. And again, you can make these data points whatever you like, whatever would make it, useful for you. You could do, RMV or relative measured volatility. And now, instead of what we were looking at before, now gold has about a 50 RS over the last month, but it's very, very tight. So gold theme might be prime for expansion soon. And then here in the top right, you have OIH, oil related names, very strong and recently expanded close to 100 in terms of RMV. So those names have already made a big move last week and are relatively strong. So maybe they'll consolidate the next week. So basically this allows you to break down things visually. And what's really cool about this is this updates in real time. So another cool use case I like is if we go ahead and do open, price percent change from the open, and we'll do, instead of RMV, we'll do run rate. If I can actually type. I have to delete this. There we go. Run rate. So now what we've plotted is my ETF list, so the same ETFs, but we're seeing price percent change from the open on Friday and then the run rate. So this updates in real time throughout the day. So you can see real time rotation of these thematic ETFs, both in terms of price percent change from the open, as well as how much volume it's moving on. So basically MSauce moved really big from the open and on relatively high run rate. Down here, these stocks didn't make much of a move and didn't have much volume either, relative volume. So this allows you to see visually in real time rotation. And you can also, of course, bring it back to actual stocks. Let's do Deepvue leaders. And now you know that these stocks over here made big moves, price percentage from the open, and then you've got some outliers. Basically, this allows you to see outliers. And that's what the whole game of trading is about, is we're trying to spot those outliers that point us to the leading themes, that point us to the highest potential stocks. So that is the bubble chart. Sorry, I went a little long on bubble chart. I created this concept, so I like it a lot. And also, let's add that back. You can add a chart element, like I said, and both of these are in the same blue group. So if I want to dive deeper into this stock, I can click it and it brings up the chart. But if I make this to the orange group, they will no longer be linked. So widgets that are linked together will be able to interact with each other. So going back to the blue group, I can click these stocks and visually screen and then bring up the charts themselves over here. So that's how you can link different things. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked there. All right, theme tracker. The whole reason we went to the dashboard. So the theme tracker is a pre-built way to spot themes very easily. So let's go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. And I actually want to add 2 theme tracker widgets to my dashboard, and you basically resize it by going to corners and clicking and dragging, and you can move it by clicking these top bars and dragging around. It's very easy to use and set up. So let's X out. So what is the theme tracker? Basically, and let's make these a little bit longer here to show all the different themes. Basically what the theme tracker is we've pre-built these groups of themes. So genomics is a theme, home construction is a theme, oil and gas is a theme, Bitcoin's a theme, AI is a theme. We've got even one for growth stocks in general. And what this allows you to do is allows you to see the performance of this bucket of stocks, these themes, on either a daily basis, 1 week basis, 3 month basis, 3 month basis, or year to date basis. And we'll probably add more options here. But very quickly, what this allows you to do is if you want to see the top themes over the past 1 month, click 1 month, done. Biotech, healthcare, top themes. Top 5 are probably top themes: oil and gas, medical, banks. What are the worst themes over the last 1 month? Bitcoin miners, Bitcoin growth stocks. So if you want to know what the current leading themes are, look at 1 week and 1 month, and it tells you right at the top. And if you want to see developing themes, go to today and make a note of each day what themes are at the top 5 here. And I've seen genomics pop up that maybe 3 out of the past 5 days. That tells me money is flowing, money is rotating into genomics, and home construction as well. And you can click any of these and then see within that group, you know, how it's acting. And let's go ahead and make this really cool. Let me make space to add a chart. Actually, I want to show that. So if you click add widget and there's no space on the dashboard to add a chart element, for instance, you know, a chart needs a certain amount of space, just go ahead. It'll be, you know, you can see the red line around this. You can see the do not proceed icon. You basically just have to adjust and make space for the chart element. And now I can drag in a chart and go ahead and bring it up there. So let's X out that. And now I can go ahead here and go through the chart. So this is another way of doing top-down analysis from leading theme to individual stocks themselves and going through the charts one by one. So again, what we did is we notice over the past, on a today basis, genomics is leading. All right, PACB is the strongest on Friday here. So this is how you find leading stocks and leading developing themes. TXG acting well. So on a daily basis, and let's go back here, genomics has been popping up a lot over the past few days. So I make a note of what are themes that are popping up, you know, currently here and rising among the ranks of a 1 week and 1 month basis. And those are your developing themes. While your existing themes are go to a 1 month and then simply see what the top 5 are. Oil and gas, medical, banks, healthcare, biotech. Those are the current leading themes. So much of this game is just finding the leading themes and either, you know, looking for setup opportunities to go long in these leading themes or setup opportunities to go short in these weaker opportunities. And this theme tracker does it one shot for you. This is awesome. We get so much great feedback from members about how great and useful this is. And it's a great way to go through a bunch of themes very quickly. And, you know, biotech is leading. Let's dive into that theme. Boom, we're automatically linked to that chart. And there we go. And let's say, you know, you have multiple charts. You have a chart that I'm just kind of going crazy to show the potential of the dashboard. We'll make another chart here. This one will be in the red group. We'll make this one the red group as well. And then these two will stay in the blue group. Now, you know, the only chart that's updating is the one linked to that same color group. When we go over here and let's go dive into retail, now this chart is the one updating. So you can see how things link together in dashboard and you can really create some amazing configurations. All right. So let's go through a few dashboards that I've created that I find really useful. We already talked about the post-market movers one. The one I really like to use is I have this market monitor dashboard. And basically I have in one shot, I have a watch list widget. So there's a watch list widget of index ETFs. I've added all these ETFs to it. IWM, IWO, MDY, equal weight Qs, SPY, QQQ, TLT, dollar, IBIT. So I've got these indexes here that I can space through and review market indexes. Then I've got the mega caps here as well. So in one shot, I can also review these mega caps. I've got in this dashboard, I have the my market monitor indicator template loaded. So I can see net new highs, new lows. I have that saved there. I've got it all set up. So every day I don't have to keep configuring different things. I've just got things set and this speeds up my routine immensely. And then down here, I've also got what were the strongest Deepvue leaders today. And I can quickly go through those charts as well. So in one view, I've got indexes, mega caps / leaders, and then the leading stocks currently in the Deepvue leaders are ranked by absolute strength 1 month. So 1 month performance, these are the strongest stocks as well. So very quickly, I can see how stocks are performing both from a high level perspective and also you know, the individual stock perspective. And you can also, of course, go over to watchlist presets, thematic ETFs, or actually top traders, my ETF list. And then I've got the leading groups acting well that I can bring up and see those as well. So there's so much potential for setting up your ideal workflow. And that's what's going to save you time at the end of the day and help you spot those leading stocks in leading themes that much faster. All right, let's go through a few more. So this is the theme tracker setup I have. I have a view here on a 1 day basis, 1 week basis, and 1 month basis. So I can see that progression. So that's how I like to use it. Heat map, I like doing percent change from the open and then relative volume. So I know even without looking at a chart that Minervini was down big off the open on big volume. There you go. So it did gap up, but it was down big off the open on big volume. So this is price percent change from the open, not price percent change today. You, of course, could change that to price percent change today if you'd like, and that will change the result. And now Minervini is shown, it shows that gap up versus that move from the open. But I like from the open because it gives a better representation of how stocks performed over the course of the day. So this is set up with Deepvue leaders. Then I've also got the S&P 500 heat map shown. And this way I've got a heat map linked to the chart itself. So if I want to dive in deeper to any stock, I just have to click it. And then it brings up the chart right away there. I've got a group ranks one. So this has some of the group ranks here. I didn't use that too much. The other main ones I use are these post-market movers one and the pre-market movers to review gap ups, post, and pre-market. It's got my data column set that goes right with that configuration all set up for me. So that's good to go. Let's go back to our demo dash. And if you want to delete a widget, you just have to go to the top right, click X. So we'll go ahead and X these out and show off the last few widgets here. And again, if you have any ideas for widgets, let us know and we'll bring it into the platform. All right, so we've got the Deepvue reports widget and our market breadth widget. So this shows stage analysis, advanced versus decliners on that day. So this would be a great one to add to maybe a market monitor dashboard. So I'm considering adding this to my configuration here. So this gives you stage 1, stage 2 in terms of stage analysis, where these stocks are. And then the reports tab allows you to see the list of results coming through specific scanners. So let's go ahead and add in my widescreen. Let's go ahead and add in 50 SMA pullback. We'll do preset scanners, Deepvue leaders. So you can add a bunch of different screens or watch lists here. Ted Zhang will add a few of his. So you basically are able to see the number of results in these screens. And over time, we're gonna spice this up. We're gonna be able to plot it over time to see how the number of stocks showing up in Deepvue leaders adjusts with market conditions and how rotation changes. So this will be a lot more dynamic, but this just gives you a really good view of the results here all in one shot. That can give you a good insight into market health. You could track this every single day and see how it alters with how you're performing, how the market's doing, all of that. And then again, this one just shows new highs versus new lows on that daily basis, the advanced decline line, and stage analysis breaking down where the stocks are in regards to the stages. So right now we have over half, it looks like, in stage 4, about maybe a fifth to a fourth in stage 3, and then maybe about a third in stage 1 and a very small amount in stage 1. Sorry, this is stage 2 is blue here. All right. The add widget button is right here in the top. So you click that and there you go. And just like screens and watch lists, if you want quick access to any ones that you've created or any presets, and we'll be adding more presets, go over to where it is in your menu and go ahead and bookmark it. And that will bring it up here for quick access. Yeah, Naned, definitely go ahead and submit that as a feature request. So Naned asks, can we find common stocks between different screeners? So that could be something that we incorporate either in the combo watch list to kind of show, how often a stock appears in our screens, or something in the reports feature as well. So definitely log that feature. That's a great idea. And this is what's awesome about the Deepvue community is we're pooling all your guys' ideas and creating the best product from those ideas. Yep, you can create multiple charts. So if you want to add multiple charts, I actually already showed that with where you could link them to different groups here. But you can add multiple chart widgets. All right. Someone asked, is there earnings calendar in Deepvue? We'll be adding that as a widget pretty shortly. We're currently working on that. All right. And by the way, I just want to mention, price action is in real time. That's included in Deepvue natively. We don't charge more for that. So it's absolutely real time. So just want to mention that. If you don't have a widget icon, potentially you're on a preset that isn't editable. So likely, if you're not seeing an add widget button, you loaded a preset that isn't editable because it is a preset. But if you want to edit it, let's say we have top tier watch Nick Schmidt. Let's go ahead and duplicate that, create a copy, and then now you're able to add a widget here. Hopefully that answers your question. And by the way, guys, in Deepvue, and we'll be expanding the functionality of this, you're able to share different screens. If you go into the menu and say, you know, I create a screen that I really want to share with my friend and have them just be able to load it, you can go over to, let's just use demo November screen, click the 3 dots here, and then click share. And you can add some detail here, click copy link. And there's a quick error here, but that allows you to share the link to a friend. They can just click that link and it will load right in their Deepvue platform. Yep, we're currently working on pattern rec, and that's coming for sure. Is there a window for last earnings release? Yeah, we'll be adding a earnings calendar widget, and we'll have it probably by the next earnings cycle. Awesome. Yeah, I see a lot of great ideas, guys. So this is what's awesome again about Deepvue is log these ideas, go down to here, roadmap, request a feature, and that will add it into our pipeline and allow other members to go ahead and upvote it. And if it's a great idea, we're going to prioritize it. So that's what you guys should do with all these great ideas that you guys are mentioning in the chat. Go down to request a feature, click that, submit it, and it will be into our system and we'll be able to track it that way. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So that's mostly what I have planned here today. So we covered a lot, guys. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Give me in the chat some feedback. You know, was overall this helpful in getting you started quickly? Hopefully it was. And yeah, we'll be adding crypto data. Yeah, we'll be adding crypto data soon. We're going to be adding a ton of stuff over the last few months. So we're always going to be improving, adding features, all of this stuff. It's all included. So that's what's pretty awesome about Deepvue. Keyboard shortcuts as well. We'll be adding as well. Perfect. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Any questions on stuff I haven't covered? Let me know in the chat right now if you have any questions. I'll be able to answer a few here. I think I probably addressed most stuff. And again, this is fully recorded. I'll be adding timestamps to different sections from creating a dashboard, creating screen, all that stuff. So you'll be able to navigate very easily between these different things. Can you open Deepvue in 2 different browsers, multiple screens? It's not, because it's browser based, the sync isn't quite there yet. So let us know. There is a Black Friday deal. Email us at hello@deepvue.com and we'll go ahead and send that your way. Custom indicators, that's something that we're working on for sure. Is it possible to lay out widgets on a different monitor with chart timeframes across other monitors? Yeah, that cross windows functionality isn't quite there yet, but that might be something that we can work on here. Journaling, that's a module. That'll be a whole module that will add so much to the platform, and we're working on it currently. It's currently in the design stage. Yeah, there's a lot with Deepvue. So there's a lot of depth here. So hopefully I helped you think about the best features that might be useful for you. Again, if there's a data point, if there's a feature, if there's a function that doesn't exist in the platform right now, if there's an indicator you'd like, go ahead down here, click request a feature and let us know about it. And we'll work on bringing it into the platform. Is regarding Deepvue market leader screen, is the filtering criteria proprietary or open for subscribers? You can see it. So if you just click these filters, this is the criteria. And you can go ahead and duplicate this preset And, you know, if you want only stocks over $10, you can go ahead and add that restriction in. But yeah, these presets, you can see the criteria and you can copy them and you know, you're not able to recreate this in any other platform with this advanced logic. That's why we're able to create such great screens in Deepvue is you have this specialist stuff that you can't really do anywhere else. So this is the Deepvue leader screen. Can you export a watch list to Excel? Yeah, you can either select maybe all the symbols at once, copy it, and then paste, or you can also do export to CSV up here. So up here next to stats table, you can go ahead and export, copy symbols to clipboard, CSV, Excel. And it's only the symbols, that's not our data, because that should be within the platform. If there's something you want to do that you're not able to do in Deepvue, let us know. And we'll bring it into the platform natively and better than you could recreate it in Excel. All right. Yeah, C. White says Deepvue is hands down the best charting platform on the market. It's only getting better. Thank you so much. You know, we work very hard at this. You know, this is what we use every single day. We're invested in this both as traders as well as founders, of course. And we want to make this just amazing. And we're always improving. We're always taking into account your feedback. I've said that a few times, but truly, I think that's what sets Deepvue apart is we trade ourselves. We know what's helpful, and we're incorporating so much of the community into this platform that really allows us to bring all these features to life that people want and will find useful. So you guys are a huge part of Deepvue. Thank you all to our current members. You guys give us great ideas. And to everybody considering Deepvue, you know, join us and go ahead and use the platform, see what you'd like us to bring to life, and we'll create your dream platform 100%. So definitely go ahead and join if you haven't already. Again, if you're not part of the platform, you're just watching this, go ahead and email us for, title the email Deepvue Black Friday, and we'll go ahead and send you all the details for that. Question, any plan to include other markets like India? Yes. Right now we're focused on US, and the first ones we'll bring will be the most popular ones. But currently it's only US. Perfect. All right. Yeah, like futures, options, that stuff. We're working on stuff in the background. And we're going to be adding more features, all that stuff and bring that to life. Perfect, guys. All right. Yeah, news. We've got some stuff coming down the pipeline for that. The email is hello@deepvue.com. Hello@deepvue.com. So if you're interested in the Black Friday deal, email us hello@deepvue.com. It's tagged at the top here. It's pinned. Email us there and just title it Deepvue Black Friday, and we'll go ahead and get back to you. All right, perfect. And to see our roadmap, again, you can go over here and request a feature, but you can also see the most highly rated ones that we're seeing. And you can see the ones, you know, we're working on. So these are the most highly rated right now. A lot of these are some you guys just mentioned. And go ahead and upvote any ones that you'd like to see us bring to the platform. Cool. Very nice, guys. All right, I think I'll call it there for today. You know, this went longer than I expected, but we wanted to make a resource that when you're just getting started with Deepvue, gets you up to speed very quickly, lets you know about all the top features that, you know, we find really useful and all the workflows that you can create. So hopefully you guys see how, you know, Deepvue can save you time. And yeah, if you found that possible, drop in the chat right now. If you've learned something new today that will save you time during your routines, drop in the chat, save time, or Deepvue saves. Drop in the chat right now. I'd be curious to see. You know, I think we've discussed a lot of top-down analysis stuff, going from ETFs to leading stocks in there, as well as the theme tracker. I think that's huge for identifying the leading themes faster. You know, just this, we have so much great feedback from some top traders here. This saves them so much time that before, you know, they'd have to go through all these individual stocks. Right now, you know, you can still do that and get that awareness, but you can also confirm it very quickly by just looking at what are the strongest theme, you know, right now. So awesome. A lot of Deepvue saves time in the chat. Perfect. Yeah. So email us, hello@deepvue.com, Black Friday deal. If you're not already part of Deepvue, we look forward to getting you in there. And if you have any questions as well, email us there. And I think we'll pretty much call it today. So thank you guys all for your time. Really appreciate it. We've got hundreds of you in here. Awesome to see. Thank you all for your questions, your feedback, your ideas. And we look forward to seeing you guys in Deepvue. Cheers, guys.